So it turns out we were wrong about the time skip because they just skip forward, give us a little bit of a cringy monologue.
Feels like season 2 of The Penguin.
Here's what you missed on. But we were definitely right. Well, sorry, you were definitely right about the Wonka thing of him popping up out of the sewers. That's such a good call.
But not like Danny DeVito, sadly, in that.
No, not raising up gently.
Spicy.
Our boy Victor, not Zaz, isn't beating the allegations as far as being Jason Todd goes. Immediately riding in on a motorcycle.
Yeah, for half a second I was like, is this going to be like Bruce Wayne coming in after a night of work going, what are you guys doing?
What are you doing in my driveway?
And also I thought it's probably me just reaching that, like his helmet looks very bird-like, like a penguin or a robin.
We just need him to be someone.
No.
He's not going to be, just because it doesn't seem like that's the kind of show.
A bit of remember the old TikTok kind of episodes?
Yes, much slower.
But it's just fine. We're ramping into...
Stuff still happens, and it definitely feels like a build.
Yeah, we're building up.
The last few moments especially.
Some great character stuff.
We are building into a dual finale. The last shot.
The end of next week's
happening.
The end of next week's going to be insanity.
It's not a cringy monologue.
It's very, we've got to just get people understanding where we are.
Yes. It's like we said last episode, how a little bit of but it gets the point across really quickly, and now we know what he's been doing.
Yeah, Thomas, you're past it before you can even think about it too much.
And it gets off the point that all these workers, they're just people from above. They're just Crown Point people that have nothing better to do.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah, and it's very good guy Oz. Like, he's like giving the people jobs. It's like, oh, you're all derelict. How about I give you a fuck ton of money?
Yeah, and he says, just say you got doing construction, and then he's doing what he always wanted to do, helping the people. Because in their world, I'm not saying it's like this, but since they're in an extreme version of corruption, it is, which we explore a bit more here with him verbally talking about it. It's like, I'm just trying to help people here. And Crown Point they haven't got power, basically been forgotten about. I'm not sure if there's examples like this in big American cities like Detroit or something, where like whole areas have been just kind of forgotten about. Oz is almost telling himself the lie of, which he tells Victor later, like, you're doing the right thing, you're looking after people. So for him, it's like all the, it's the breaking eggs for an omelette situation,
It's not that he doesn't want to be Rex Calabrese and like the good guy mob boss and wants the respect. Like, it's not completely selfish. He wants people to respect him, not through like fear, but like because he helped them or like because he can help them, which I think, again, just deepens his character even more because he's not just a complete asshole yet. I'm still hoping for that Joffrey moment between the next 2 episodes. But in this, like, he talks about he's just a kid from the Upper East Side, and when he is torturing the councilman to get the power back on, he's like, I just want you to do your job. Like, he's not wrong. He might be doing it for selfish reasons, but like, he is actually helping people in Crown Point, whether we like it or not.
There's the great point, give us your tie. And he goes, you've got more room than you think.
I love those moments with him. Like, that you've got more room. Cause
it makes it real.
When he was going to the funeral in episode 1 or 2, the guy trying to drives in front of him, and he's like, half letting the guy go, and then he's like, fuck. Like, it's just those little moments that they're just so well written, and it just makes him feel like a real person.
Yeah.
And way too likable.
Exactly. So in terms of, as we said, like plot stuff, we're just setting the stage for the next 2 episodes. So we have basically the Penguin is slowly but surely through bliss, has managed to rebuild the empire, has managed to get everything going. He's looking a little bit more villain in his hideout. We've got the braces on, we've got the cigar in the mouth. Yeah. We're kind of cutting more of that.
The Arkham silhouette,
particularly with the coat and stuff. Like,
he's not there character-wise yet, because obviously it depends where they want to take him. Whether if they want him to be much smarter in general and be less like like, they don't have to take him there, but they're at least giving him the look and stuff. It would be interesting to see if we can see him fall into complete villainy by the end of it.
Yeah.
But we don't have a Batman, which does make it kind of hard to make him a villain.
Because we've kept it so much on, like, the Crown Point side. Like, the way they've described Gotham in the movie in this, it's like there's the crap side, then you go over the bridge, and it's the nice side. Like, they've simplified it. It's like a Jersey and Manhattan armor situation or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the colonies. Basically, he's running the gaff, and his main power thing is the fact that no one knows where he is, like, operating, and no one knows even how it's happening. And
they're clearing bridges so that they can pop out of any manhole they want to do whatever they want.
I'm so pleased with myself. But yeah, and he's trying his best to get the triads. That all this stuff's going real well, but the triads are really the biggest game in town since the Maronis and the Gigantes are just kind of stewing.
And they can get it overseas for him, which means even more money.
Because I only have ever watched one crime show. I was like, oh, like Los Polos Hermanos.
Yes.
Like with Gus Fring and
get it to Mexico, baby.
Yeah, that's it. And it all seems to be going well. We're getting the money, but the power's not working. Like, we got the generators.
Yeah, he's still slumming it, which very much adds to the underdog feel. Like, he's the bad guy, sure, but he's definitely the underdog. He's living in a dark cave.
Yeah.
He's trying to help his mum. He's got his, like, little brother son going on. Like, in everything except the fact he did a couple of murders a few episodes ago.
Unlike the last week where the two stories kind of sat by themselves, these two are a bit more interwoven.
Well, Sophia gets about 3 things to do.
Well, we cut back to Sophia and turns out now she's a dominatrix and my least favourite
haircut.
I wouldn't even say he's even the best performance either. Not maybe the actors just have that much to work with. Also, he's meant to be playing a bit crazy.
I liked him in Luke Cage, but yeah, in this he's just given us nothing. He's definitely the weak point of the show. He's either not given anything to work with or he's just choosing not to do anything with it.
It's a bit of a, why are you here?
It could also be everyone's such a huge character. Like, it's Penguin, Sophia, Vic, and they're all such, like, tent poles.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like, Maroni and the Triads. But then it's just him.
But then you get these wonderful way they go to the effort of like, hey, let's give Maroni a bit of reality. So he's doing a bit of cooking. It's honouring his wife. His wife gave him the recipes to pass down to
and his son liked it with yogurt. And it's just like, oh, God.
Yeah, and then he does like a bit of a religious, like, or some kind of acknowledgement before. Like these really nice little touches for a character that so far has just kind of been, you know, the deposed king holding court at jail.
But now he's a nice guy who's lost everything from our good guy, and I'm like, ooh.
Well, yeah, he's a relatable father figure, and then it's, as they remind us, the fact that he had the drops business, and it was Carmine kind of ratting him out, getting him.
Yeah, like no one is clean or honourable kind of deal.
Which is what Penguin sort of brings up in his big, you know, Emmy award-winning speech, which they will play Colin Farrell for The Penguin, where we get that awesome speech, which reminded me of you, because you often go about, well, you guys don't know about this. He gets me and Marco in here and goes, we started off with 50 fucking subscribers. Now look at us. We got nearly 4,000.
Help. You can do it. He also works really well with Sophia in the way that, like, she's young and reckless to a degree because she is just out of a psych ward. She's not an idiot, but he's
playing
wise.
Into the hangman, like,
she is now,
persona.
That was a good moment.
When she gets the war paint on, you know, that.
And hanging people upside down, cutting off their pinky like they said Sal did, just to send a message.
Yeah.
Maroni's acting like the wise sage kind of deal. Like, he's pretty broken. He's not really doing anything, and he's a bit reckless, but he's been doing this for 40 years.
He's in the house arrest because he's a wanted criminal, so that he can't do much.
Yeah, and it's great that they don't reduce him to being, like, completely weak. Or, like, a lot of current writers would lean more into the Maroni's now a little bitch, she's a dom, and then, like, make him come across as weak, but he's still a giant man. He's not doing what she tells him to. Like, he's just cooking.
She goes, Triad's made a deal with me, and he's like,
that doesn't
the fuck does that mean anymore?
Yeah.
Like, they made a deal with the Falcones, and he's got the goods. They're going to take from who's buying. I would know because I got fucked over.
Yes, exactly. It's experience and her naivety, but she's got everything.
Exactly.
He doesn't seem to want, I guess because he's got nothing to live for anymore, he just wants his revenge.
That, but he just wants clean revenge, and the frustration is
and then he's like, Gigantes, fuck it, go do whatever. I've lost everything.
Exactly. So they go to Penguin's apartment and they poke around and find nothing. They find, you know, we get a reminder. His brothers are dead. Oh, his mum's dead too. The only thing she picks up was that it's the escort. I forget the character's name again, sadly. But yeah, she picks up the escort information, so knows that she's going to go.
Finds her underwear there in a drawer.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, he does have someone, because they had just gone from Maroni saying,
he's got no
he's got brothers. Like, I think that's even the first time we see that photo.
We saw it briefly. Vic looks at it in episode 1 or 2 when he goes to the apartment.
It's like, he has people, and then Sophia's like, no, actually, he doesn't have anyone. Everyone's dead, even his mum. And it's like...
and he says, like, he's took everything from me and he's got nothing. I like that Oz, he's not this hyper genius that we maybe thought he might have been. It's more he's overly cautious, which would make sense for a character who's always limping along. There's a book called Six of Crows, and one of the characters has a cane, and the author herself has a cane, and she was amazed at how many little things in life you have to take into account because you can't get there. Like, what path am I going to take that's easiest on the leg?
Okay.
Stuff like that. And I think with him hiding away his mum, it's just more not him, playing 3D chess, being 4 steps ahead. He's being cautious. He's always 3 steps behind.
He's not Nikocado Avocado.
Oh, God. Imagine that. But yeah, that's it. He's a reactionary guy. He can, as you said before, he thinks well on his feet. He kind of thrives in those moments.
He does that in this, after he gets beaten down by the fact that everyone's dying, he comes up with the idea there. He's like, oh.
We're just going to force the hand.
Yeah, I've got nothing to lose. Fuck it.
Yeah, because his plan is we're going to give it all away for free. We're going to get it all on the street. Just fuck it. Then when the demand's there, they're going to have to come to us. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it's literally free samples at Walmart. It's genius. They've accounted for everything, so it's weird watching a show and not just being like, that's stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah, because at first I was like, really, would he make this attempt? But then I was like, no, he runs all of it,
and he has the only drugs because they've taken drops off the street completely, as we find out from Squid. So it really is bliss or nothing, or normal drugs that aren't allowed in the DCU.
Sofia meets with the escort after getting palmed out a few $100, assumingly.
It's a good little moment. It's always a good little moment.
You're like, betrayal.
You think, oh no, she's a traitor, and you've got the stormtrooper ready to fight Finn.
Yeah.
And then no, it's this was just her plan because she doesn't want all her women killed because she's expecting her to be the hangman still.
Yeah.
That was probably the only down moment kind of deal, because why didn't Oz tell her that she wasn't the hangman, or how hadn't that gotten around?
I guess you don't want to talk about it. And also Oz has probably just saw what happened when, put his own daughter in Arkham because she was potentially talking to...
Yeah.
So it's if he gets word that Oz is talking out of school as well.
Yeah, they explain it in universe. She says, oh, otherwise you'd ask questions and this and that. But I'm just it's the only time that felt like they were going out of their way to explain a little plot point,
which I wouldn't have thought about, but I get it. Yeah. But then also it's them going reality-wise. If they were killing escorts, she would know about it since she works in that operation. So it makes sense that she would bring that up in Umbridge.
The wonderful thing in that scene, the umbrella hanging above her bed.
It did, yeah. It's are we reading too much into it? But it did look particularly umbrella-esque.
Yeah. Whether it was the showrunner director or the art director is just on it.
Penguin-y, yeah.
Someone had that idea and I commend them for it. That was wonderful. That's how you do references, in my opinion. You don't actually give him an umbrella that fires. You don't give him a monocle. You either give him an umbrella that he uses to hide a shotgun, or you hang an umbrella as a lampshade above their bed, just because it's just nice touches that make it feel real without completely sucking you out. It's not like she pulled out an umbrella and went, oh.
That's why I liked in the movie when he's tied up and they leave him there, he waddles after them, tied up, very much like a penguin.
Yep.
After that conversation, which is them
It's girl talk. It's them talking about the women and the fact that what Oz is like, because she knows him.
That's it.
We were discussing whether she actually likes him or not, and it's a lot of people think there are actually some feelings there, and there are, but not enough feelings for her not to turn him in.
She's always going to look after herself. Also, he will probably always look after himself.
Like she says, he's not going to come for me. He's not going to come rescue me if I'm a damsel in distress.
It's incredibly true. He's going to oh no, not my...
If you're not his mum, you're fucked. I'm sorry, darling.
Don't you pussy hurt me, Oswald.
We'll quickly touch on Victor. It's very much about Victor breaking bad, I guess, officially.
He gets tested, basically.
Yeah, because now it's he has chose to do this, where in the other with the car, it was I'm going to save Oz. There's that mental calibration that you can do, but with this, it's I'm setting someone up to be killed now.
Yes, he went there. He knew that he would probably have to shoot him. It was an option.
Yeah,
he's got one more kill in American, one more brutal kill that goes from that way accident. This one was apologetic. I'm sorry. The next one's going to have to be cold blooded. The next one's going to have to be not someone that isn't nice, just to show his downfall.
It is curious that Squid, considering everyone got involved, that Squid wasn't brought into...
Yeah, you would think he was the drug runner for drops.
But then you can only imagine that Penguin would have sent out Vic for feelers, and Vic would have went out his way to not get Squid.
Yeah, very possible.
So, it's not too insane.
And also, if they're trying to avoid the eyes of the others, they're using non-drug runners. They're using just people off the street,
regular
almost.
People. That's it. You don't want the suspected, because he was a drops runner.
Yeah, people should be oh, it's a drops runner. Get him.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that completely makes sense then.
Probably.
Yeah, he He's approached by Squid. Squid kind of tries to big man him, like pretends to like almost.
Yeah.
It's very awkward in a good way of like, I'm going to start and you're
Especially
not really.
the way they've shown Victor as well.
But tell me your guy, like tell me who he is.
He loses his stutter when he's confident,
Yeah.
and it comes back hard when he's nervous.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking to Squid, he's stuttering and stammering, and it's very good.
Very good.
Basically, Squid is a giant twat, and I feel like we all know someone that is that dude, bro, and you're like, fuck off. But he gets it, which is wonderful, but it's so brutal, because it's not just like, oh, shot in the chest, you watch him die.
No, it's the neck, yeah.
Yeah, it's not quick. Vic has to stand there and just watch him gurgle blood everywhere.
And to win this, like, no one cares about Crown Point and who cares about Squid. He probably did get away clean, and
he was the only one that knew they were there until the ending.
And Penguin doesn't even know the specifics of the situation. Like he went to Penguin and said, hey, but then kind of decides that he's too busy. And also, I mean, maybe I'm inferring, but this whole, I've got to step up. I've been running with Penguin for a while now. Because what with the plan? I'm going to take him all the way down to the what's it called? And then Penguin's going to kill him.
Or even just telling him about it. Like, Penguin's got so much on his plate right now that Vic cares.
And he's had enough times where he's like, you're going to have to step up, like those hard conversations.
Yeah, I think that's the best part. It's good seeing Vic having to deal with the situation, but his interplay with Penguin because of the situation is the best part of this episode.
Yeah.
We talked about it very early on, like, oh, does he care about Vic or not?
I think he does now.
By now, yes, 100%. Vic is his little brother / son.
For sure, when Vic came back and saved him, like that was probably
that was probably the click moment.
Yeah.
But having him just watch how Penguin's stressing, Penguin's trying to fix the generator, is like he's got so much to do, and Vic's like, you know what, I'll handle this. Like I do have to step up.
Yeah,
he doesn't. Him not having to be told step up is the step up.
And he does tell Squid he's just going to kill you. So like he does give Squid an out.
Yes. He does everything he can. He's like,
even
please,
saying,
man.
like, I'm going to give you money weekly, like, to just not be a pest. But
Squid is a twat.
Yeah, so, he tried, he gave every option. He did it, why'd you make me do that?
And it wasn't an accident. It was on. That's what I mean by we need a third kill that's vindictive. Just because this one is like the perfect middle ground between the accidental save Penguin kill and this one's like, he didn't like him. Like, he shot him. He doesn't care. He's more sad that he shot someone, not that he shot Squid.
Another interesting thing is that because I assumed it was like not Parkinson's, what's the other one called?
Alzheimer's?
Yeah, I assumed she had Alzheimer's or dementia, but we're told now by Penguin there. First they thought it was Parkinson's, probably because she was dropping things or doing something, but now they reckon it's whatever. I don't know. It probably is a genuine.
They said the name. I'll try to put it up, but I'm not sure if it's just because it's a cool line of, if these doctors don't even know how to save her from it, how am I supposed to? Like, that's a great line.
Yeah. And also it feeds into that whole, like, eat the rich, screw them, because he said all these fancy guys with their diplomas and they can't tell me this one thing.
Yeah. That's why it's just a fantastic setup. We get a great moment when they're having breakfast.
Yes.
And she goes completely back 30-odd years, and Rex might be Penguin's daddy.
Yeah, Rex.
Maybe.
That's it. I didn't pick up on that.
Might not be.
You're right, Rex.
That could be why he idolizes Rex so much. Or maybe he wishes Rex was his dad because Rex would look after the mum when dad couldn't, because she's like, oh, there's no power. You're a deadbeat dad. Your kids need you. I'm going to go to Rex.
You're right.
So maybe she had been to Rex a few times.
So I'm going to go to Rex. Is that what she says?
She basically says, you can't provide for the kids. I'm going to go to someone who can. I'm going to go to Rex. And so
that's probably maybe that. Yeah, who knows? Or it feeds into his admiration even more that Rex looked after him.
He was the dad. Yeah. Either that or he is Rex's son. Like, could be.
Could be. That's fun. That's interesting.
It's not said, and it's.
I doubt it will be like it's R plus L equals J. But it's just a thing in the background that you can go, oh, that's nice because I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's more of a vibe than a. Yes, these two people made the Penguin. Oh my God, this changes everything.
Yeah.
It's just a cute little. He probably actually does want respect and to help people because he was helped as a kid. I still want to know how his fucking brothers died, though. Tell me.
They keep ringing that bell. I don't know what it's like, but then Vic also isn't a nurse, so
Vic tries to placate her by playing along with the delusion.
That she comes in and out of lucidity.
Yeah.
So you're better off just playing along with the delusion and letting her just reset somewhere else.
Fucking hates that. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether it's because
the use of the brothers' names and all that.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's because he doesn't want someone else to pretend he's his brother, or he doesn't want to feed into her delusions because he's like,
if you do that,
Yeah, it's going to make her worse, and he wants her to stay good. So if he tries to fix it, but it's a great opposite.
It's getting worse and worse. So which happens when, speaking from personal experience with my grandfather, when you take them out of the familiar place, it does kind of throw them off, and that's what happens a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she did say last week, this, back at Crown Point, this apartment feels like where I lived before. So it kind of makes sense why she's maybe going back to those times as well.
Everything's reminding her of them.
Exactly. So. And, she does need proper care. She tells Oz that, look, when time's ready, I need you to put me down because I'm not going to be a vegetable somewhere. Which is interesting considering that by the end her life's on the line. So then she's she's
fucking hardcore.
She's a hardcore woman that I doubt it'll be this where she's like, go get him, Oz. And then
she sits in the chair, drops the grenade on the floor.
Oh, it's like the Angelina Jolie in Wanted when she curves the bullet and it makes its way around.
She's so hardcore though. And she's just like, don't be a pussy, Oz. Fucking kill me if you need to. And he's just breaking down. He can't.
It's the abuse. If you love me, you do it.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that.
And it just shows again that he does love her.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of the whole La Familia, he has to, or whether on a deep emotional level he actually does, because she looked after him all his life. And it sounds like Daddy didn't do much.
Yeah.
So
going back to Squid, I did like the, the Wizard of Oz. He always disappears.
It's a good line, yeah.
So I never thought about that banter, but yeah, it makes sense.
It's still not worth removing Cobblepot though. Give me my justice for Cobblepot.
It is weird, isn't it? Because we've been hearing a lot of Oz Cobb now.
They must have just decided it sounded too fancy.
Or maybe it's just with the accent. It's me, Oz Cobblepot.
I would have used it as part of it's fancier than he is, and everyone maybe it's part of making fun of him. You have Cobblepot, your last name, but you're actually just poor
but
the rest of us.
But then the joke of you could have played into that his deadbeat dad was English or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like you could have used it.
And also the character has been English in versions, so you can kind of have that in without it being too ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Colin Farrell is Irish. He's not British, but Irish.
One of the colonies.
Yeah, he's Irish. It's fine. Sorry. No. But yeah, it's weird that's where they drew the line. I know this is meant to be a grounded, realistic world.
Yeah, that's why it still annoys me, because they just decided.
There's still an insane person dressed as Batman.
Yes, no matter what you do.
A themed hero.
Batman exists, guys.
Yeah, or else it just, in their world, it'd be the man.
A good execution of Batman in the show is what's keeping it from being a 10 out of 10 for me, to be honest. This show's really, really great, and everyone should watch it, but there's still always a piece of me that's something we could take it to the next level.
Wow, you have seriously leveled up.
Ozzy's big move, big swing is he has that epic speech, which is great. As we said, it's the Emmy awarding speech. He goes to the Sullivans, your ancestors built that bridge.
They don't even know your fucking name.
Yeah, I did like it. It sounded like he was going to go, they don't even know your name. But then he went high halfway through it, so it was great.
This man needs to rest his voice for the next month and a half after that.
Yeah.
That much growling for that long, that's got to be equivalent to a screamo concert level of destruction to your vocal cords. There was one moment that in this episode that I thought, oh, that's a prosthetic, because it's him next to his mum looking in to the mirror, and you see a real human directly next to him. It's almost flawless, but that was the one moment that my brain was like, oh yeah, that's a prosthetic mask. That's a thing.
But it'd be interesting if someone didn't know, because I remember at the, when the first trailer dropped, there was that, did you know that's Colin Farrell under there?
We should just make undershorts that are did you know in this scene it's Colin Farrell?
Yeah. Did you know in The Batman?
Oh, yeah, I love that you don't know what's in the esky. You can't even tell it's an esky, it's just a big chest. You think it might be drugs, and then he just cracks it open. He's like, welcome to the Gold Summit, boys, and he cracks a Tui's gold, and I'm like, that's fucking fantastic.
But yeah, and it's weird because you're there, and I'm like, okay, what is it? And it was so cool when they crack. It's just a good little and it was a better version of, instead of it being, yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah, or
well, it is, the king in the north.
Yes, it's...
it's that kind of moment where we've agreed that you're the guy we're going to go in with.
Yeah.
Going in against the Gigantes. And as he said, those guys over there in
across
their
the
and we've seen it, as we said, that fancy mansion. They're not part of us anymore.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. He goes through all these people that I guess the triads are kind of rich, but they're stuck in Chinatown. They're not allowed to leave. Yeah.
Penguin's going to be bringing in the craziness of it, for sure. He's going to, I'm hoping...
make them devolve.
I want him to do what Nolan wanted to do, at least what he hints at the end of The Dark Knight when the Joker goes, you change things forever now, they're going to start coming, but then he had to, pivot and make it more just a big epic ending. I love with this, it's like, this is where, you know, the rogues start leaking.
That's what I really
in,
hope for the next 2 episodes, that I want him to become more Joffrey. I fucking despise this guy. And then make him a little bit more crazy. Make him a bit of a tweaker.
And now I'm picturing, I don't think they'll do it, but like his eye gets damaged and he needs some optical, but I just don't think they'll do it.
The restraint they're showing.
The restraint, like I did expect some bullshit of like, who knows, got 2 episodes.
Picks up a broken bit of glass, looks through it.
Yeah, like little dumb things like that.
You'd be so tempted constantly.
Yeah, you'd be incredibly tempted. He said earlier, lean into it with the stuttering. So I keep thinking, because he still hates the name Penguin. So I'm thinking, when he goes, I'm Oz Cobb.
Yeah. I'm the Penguin, cuts to black.
Like he's going to own it.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be a cane. I think the cane is fine. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, we're so close to the iconography as is. Like, I would love to... It'd be a great finale thing. That'd be the thing. But with the speech, they like knock him back on it too. It's not like he just says a half-assed speech and everyone's like, you know what, sure.
No, they challenge him.
And like they bring up very good points of, he's betrayed the last 2 people that trusted him. And everyone's like, shit.
Furthermore, that was like revision stuff where they're like, hang on a minute, he has kind of like stabbed everyone, and everybody knows he stabbed everyone in the back.
I believe it was first draft for this because this show's been so well done.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Every other show would just have him make a big speech and everyone would be like, you know what, I am on board. You're right. Whereas with this, it's like they bring up valid points.
You bring in that challenge.
He brings up more points. Like, it's a discussion. And it's believable because I'm sitting there like, fuck this guy's like, he's got a point. Like, we have all the power. Viva la. Fuck these rich guys. They're doing, like, Parliament is exactly what we are. Yeah. But we can't get along. And everyone's like, damn, he is right. And it just shows why he's good with people. Sophia says to the prostitute, I need to find her name, you know exactly what to say to men, or like, you know exactly what people want to hear. That's Oz. He knows exactly what to say.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting that, like him and her, they're both good at people.
To me, I still feel like there's this, even though he's just burnt even though it's revealed that he did do all these things to the Falcons and Maronis,
yes,
there's still this level of underestimation that he refers to him as the weed or the rat, or like, if we could just get him.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're underestimating him again, like, at least for me. I'm like, this guy, he will go as down low as he needs to go to get this done.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's once again very excited going in. We've set the stage for an awesome finale, and like, is it going to be him coming home, finding Sofia there, or she's going to take the mum, or it's just crazy what it's going to be. Like,
I wasn't wrong in our earlier reviews. There's still no like end point. Like, we don't know where we need to get to. We're just going to end up there.
If Sophia's going to live it out or not.
Yeah,
you know?
Vic might shoot her in the face, then he shoots Vic in the face. I don't fucking know.
I think Salvatore's gone, to be honest.
Again, because we always clean house in Batman so early on, like, the Maronis and the Falcons aren't the interesting part of Batman.
Yeah,
they're just a stage.
Exactly. I am interested, though, because now we've got Penguin, more or less. And even though this Batman isn't quite the Batman we saw, that I would know, because the Batman in the Batman movie is just kind of like beating up regular thugs and helping the police when asked. But so he's not quite the hyper-vigilant Batman, but who knows. But I thought, okay, Penguin has now came out as potentially like the new crime boss. He's providing the new drug. Surely the Batman, Bruce Wayne, would be aware of a new drug on the street.
Yeah, my point was that he hasn't actually done anything yet. But then you said, that everyone in Gotham now has this drug. Like,
yeah, and then they haven't done the whole... And ever since he saved everyone at at Gotham Square Garden, the Batman has mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, he's a bastion of hope now.
All we got was that 40% of crime, hint, hint, pay attention. That's what the Batman's up to right now.
It could also be they're not allowed. Like, they don't know what they want to do for Batman 2 when they made this. So they were like, don't touch him. Just in case you say something that then contradicts something we want to do later, just avoid him. That's the easiest way to do it. It's just very much like, it's more interesting when a bad guy is related to the good guy somehow. Like, it's that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you'd shoehorn that into
I'm going to
this.
hazard on the side of we're not going to get anything.
That would be the better option, I think. But a little part of me is still going to be like, cut the lights and have Batman.
Or like you hear, because that whole Batman, the whole version of this Batman is it's either the car or it's the boots, the boom.
Yeah. Penguin like gets through like a final wall so that they can spread through the tunnel more, and then you just see like the jet engine light up on the back of the Batmobile.
Here you go. The ending will be that he's finally the king. He's the kingpin. Maybe. I'm assuming the Penguin's going to be on top in 2 episodes. I'm still going.
Yes.
Feels like we're nearly there.
He will get on top, but Mum, Vic, everyone's dead. Like, bad things happen.
He's looking out. He's like, mine finally, and then he sees the bat symbol go on.
That
would be pretty sick.
Because the symbol does exist, right?
I'd be happy with that. That it's like, and here we go. Like,
it'd also be a nice quick shortcut into Batman 2. Like if you just do what this show did, how you start like immediately. Fantastic. And then the ending, of course, the big moment is
Alfred
basically
Hitchcock, like dun dun dun. He hears someone come in, and
I think he might assume it's Penguin.
Yeah, we did. I did. I assumed Penguin would come around and be like, "What the fuck you doing?"
See, I knew it wasn't Penguin because I was expecting Sophia. As in, like, I heard the door.
They managed to make you forget, though. No, it was just 20 minutes before.
Yeah, it's very well done. Mum's having a lucid moment. She's dancing. Penguin succeeded. He's got the lights back on. But all this does is light up a big "I'm over here" for Sophia.
And I didn't realize that the building he was in was called the zoo.
Yes.
Like, so
the sign been turned off and it's been during the day.
The zoo. Like, there's,
The mom's having a lucid moment. You're like, this is lovely. Like, this woman that is a cold, hard bitch is having a little dance with Vic, and you're like, this is wonderful. This lovely family. Then you hear the door slam, and you're like, oh, the Penguin's come. He's going to be like, well, look, I did it, Mara. And then, no, it is Sofia Gigante. We also don't know what she's going to do. And while she's listening, the mum is kind enough to go, my son, Oswald Cobblepot.
You go with it. You just make it clear.
Good. It's just very funny to me that it's like, there's no way Sophia isn't thinking.
And she'd probably be really offended of like, oh, really? Like, you lied to me about your mum.
Again.
But also, it's to protect her. So now, I think we're going to take his mum and we're going to have him play the part, but I think instead you're going to have the mum die next episode, and then it's just game fucking on.
Mum might die just from like stress, honestly.
Yeah.
Even if Sophia doesn't mean to kill her.
Or Vic. Or does she go to Vic and goes, Vic, I need you to do it. They're gonna hold Oz. They're gonna hold me against him. If you put me down now, or she decides to put herself down, so Oz doesn't have any. Because we've seen her be like, don't be a pussy. Like, she encourages this.
Vic would be like, she wanted me to do it. I had to do it.
Yeah.
And then
I had to do it, Oz.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
And then Oz would never forgive him for killing his mum, even though that's exactly what the mum wanted. So it's like, that could be a little bit of unforgiving.
Maybe.
But, and then he becomes Jason Todd.
No, he strangles Vic in the crib, like episode 8.
He goes back in time? What?
I don't know. I think Vic might see it through, though. I think Vic might be in it. I think he might see this series
Oh, he might
through.
survive. Yeah.
Now I think that.
Also, maybe not, because what's Sophia going to do? How is she not going to torture these two? How is Penguin's going to have to choose between his mum or Vic? I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm very keen.
Super keen.
I'm annoyed that I'm in Japan for it, but also I'm in Japan for it, so why the fuck do I care? Fuck you guys for going to Japan.
So we will be back. We will likely be doing a summary. Hey, here's what happened in the last 2 episodes. A dual review, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be a finale, the 2-episode finale / the ending.
And then we'll be cutting in hard with some Dune prophecy.
Tell us what you thought of the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Very appreciated. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you when I get back. Enjoy whatever crap I put out in the meantime. See you guys.
Oh, yeah.